Have you seen a cuter airman? Have you seen a cuter airman? Let me know. Let me know. Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to your girl channel. It's Niahshontae and I am back with another video. So today's video, it is a Meps experience video. Now if you are new to my channel, you wouldn't know this, but this is a refilm. I have posted, edited, all that great stuff, a video of my Meps experience on my channel. I took it down because in the video I felt like I was saying things that could have been taken the wrong way, and I don't want my words to be taken the wrong way. So in this video I'm going to sit here and give a disclaimer. By no means am I saying that you should lie to your recruiter, lie to the people at Meps, deceive them in any type of way. I'm not condoning that. I'm not none of that. Okay, that is not the route to go. Yeah, I think and also I want to say that this is my experience. This is what I did and how it operated and all of those things. So it could be different just because of the Meps station that you live in or you went to. Different branches do different. I'm not very knowledgeable about other Meps experiences other than pretty much the Air Force. So I don't know. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get to this video. I do have my phone out because I have like an outline of everything that happened that day. It is now January 2021. Oh, wait, see, look at me. It is now January 2022 and this took place in August 2021. So first I'm going to start off with the fact that I met with my recruiter the day before I went to Meps, and we just had like a talk about what he expects of me and, you know, all those great things. And I filled out a questionnaire and went over, I think it was kind of like a mock questionnaire, and he just pretty much wanted to stress on that questionnaire, the like reading over everything. And it was some things that I like read over, like I didn't fully read, and he was just like, look, okay, so when you go, you want to make sure that you read everything because there can be questions that you don't answer that are pivotal to your process and stuff like that, which is normal, and that should be for anybody signing, and because you're going to do a lot of signing papers, and you just want to make sure you know what you're signing, you're reading, and what you're putting on your information is accurate. We did that, and he gave me a COVID form because we are in times of COVID and you go to Meps with that form, and I think he might have gave me some other paperwork. I'm not really sure. So fast forward to the day I go to Meps. I have to be there, I think like at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I think I woke up at like 4. He told me to eat, make sure I eat something, put something on my stomach because I was going to be there all day. And in fact, I was there all day. I think you're supposed to do it for like blood sugar, cholesterol purposes. Like you don't want your numbers to read low and whatnot. So I made some oatmeal and I drank some water because make sure you drink plenty of water. You're going to have to do a urinalysis and you want to be able to produce. Drove there. I was pretty much kind of early because I was just super excited to go. This is a long time coming for me personally. I've had a whole, I'm not really going to get into it, but like since 2019 I was trying to get into the military, and it's just different reasons, but that's another story for another day. I arrive at Meps and I'm super early, and my recruiter tells me that I have to wait, like, and he was very like, my recruiter is, I really appreciate him, like no joke, like he's really was like, that's my dog, but you know what I'm saying, respectfully. But I was able to contact him and texted him, and you know, I'm like going over information. He was like, you know, you're fine. I was okay. At this time you're supposed to go, I think they open their doors at 5 in the morning. He was just like, you have to wait for the bus. So the bus eventually pulls up because I fortunately didn't have to stay in the hotel because I don't live that far from my Meps location, but there are people coming from all over the state and they have to stay in hotels. So majority of those people are on the bus. Like literally it was like maybe a couple, like let's say 4 people who drove to Meps. Everybody else was on the bus, and those were like 40 people that were on the bus. So they get off the bus and we end up going into the building. We give them our COVID forms, they take our temperatures, we go through security. Don't wear any type of jewelry Don't bring any weapons. I suggest just bring your paperwork that you're supposed to bring, which I know you have to, whatever your recruiter tells you to bring, but I know you have to bring your social security card, maybe your birth certificate, depending on your situation, and your ID. That's it. And your phone and your keys if you drove. That's it. Don't bring no extra stuff because you're not going to be able to have it. Some people did go from the hotel, so they did have to bring their things inside with them, but everything else, like my phone, I didn't have my phone all day. It's locked away, and you can't, you're not gonna be on your phone chilling and scrolling while you're waiting. That's not how this goes. It's very much hurry up and wait type of thing. Go to your liaison's office, hand them some paperwork. They give you, maybe they gave you the name tag then, I'm not really sure. We got sent to a room where everybody was going to be briefing. Now you're doing this process with everybody, so it's not separated into like Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, all of those things. It's everybody together. So we go into a briefing room and we're briefed. Okay, it's a lot of information to take in and to listen to. We do a whole bunch of paperwork. We sign a whole bunch of things in the briefing before we like start the actual this is a part of the process, but it's kind of like a pre-process thing. I don't know. We list like our tattoos, birthmarks, and stuff of that nature. So after we're kind of like wrapped up doing that, and they tell you a lot of stuff in the briefing. If you lie, you know, all those types of things, you're going to be disqualified. You will be if they find out later on that you were lying, you will be discharged dishonorably. Okay, perjury. It was a lot of threats going on in there. I mean, those are not threats. I believe that they will act on those things, but it was just very, you know, nerve-wracking. Like, you be like, okay, like, okay, because, you know, y'all just talk to your recruiter and listen to your recruiter because they know what's best. And they also tell you, just because your recruiter told you not to tell us this, he's not gonna get in trouble for that. You're gonna be one in trouble for it. So that's what they tell you. And they do not be playing. They be like, yeah, we don't care. Yeah. I also can say that everybody in my facility, my Meps, they were really, I mean, they did their job, and I appreciate that. And they were not mean. I didn't have any bad experience with any of the staff or anything like that. Everybody was pretty much cool. It was good. So while we're in the briefing, somebody had went around and took our blood pressure, and then as we were leaving, they did the breathalyzer. That's why people stress not to use mouthwash before you go to Meps, because it contains alcohol in it, and that will show up on the breathalyzer, and you don't want those problems. You have to be like a 0.0, not a 0.1, not a point nothing. You have to be a 0.0 when you blow into the breathalyzer. My first station was the hearing, the sound booth, the hearing test. Okay, yeah, the hearing test. And I kind of like watched a whole bunch of videos about Meps, and I in my head I had an idea of how everything would look and how everything would be like, and it's just like, I rather you take the realistic approach to Meps, because people try to scare you. People say their experiences, but those were their experiences, and I was kind of like psyched out about certain things because of watching other people's Meps videos. So, you know, just let your experience be your experience, because you cannot compare and contrast. Like, it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. Everybody's Meps is different and everybody's situation is different, but just keep that into account. Even watching my video, I said that to say, when I seen the hearing, like in my head I had an idea of how the hearing test and situation would go, but even from watching others people's videos, like I kind of made up in my head how it would look and whatever. It was not that. I go into the hearing test room, and it's like a little box, right? So it's like a box, and it looks kind of old-timey, and it's me and two other females who are doing the hearing test together. So in the box, it is like maybe six, yeah, I want to say about 6 seats. So we all sit down, and they're like headphones on the wall. You put your headphones on, and then he tells us that the headphones will tell us the instructions for the hearing exam. So he goes, he closes the door and he leaves. Well, he doesn't leave, but he like goes around the corner to start the machine or whatever. So we put the headphones on, we're listening to the instructions, but my instructions were kind of like vague. Like I really couldn't hear them, and I was like, bro, I'm finna fail. I was like, bro, I'm finna fail this dang on hearing test. And this is like my first station in Meps besides the briefing. I was like, how am I gonna fail something already and I just got here? Like, that is crazy. So I was freaking out. Like, I was freaking out because when I put the headphones on, it just sounded kind of like it was coming from behind me and not from my headphones. And I was like, if it's broke, do I have the right headphones connected? I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I get up, and I also didn't want to be the one who's just like insubordinate, not listening, not following rules, not listening to instructions and stuff like that. So I get up and I look out because it has like a little window. I look because I was gonna go tap on, at least knock on the glass. So I didn't want to just open the door, and I didn't want to mess anybody else up. I didn't want to mess myself up. So I was gonna knock on the door, and I see the man leave out the room into the rest of, he left out the hearing test room. I was like, oh my gosh. So I sat down and I was like, I'm just gonna click the beeps whenever I hear them. And it's a 3-sequence beep. And through watching other people's Meps video, I was really psyched out for this because I'm not hard of hearing, but like sometimes I can be. I think just because I have selective hearing, but child, anyway. So I was like, I'm gonna fail the hearing test. It's gonna be so tiny. They're just gonna expect me to have like this supersonic hearing that I don't have. Like, I don't know what to do. So it's like a sequence of 3, and then you hit after the sequence of 3, you press the button. And I was just pressing the button when I heard it, because that's all I could do. So he comes back in and he's like, everybody's good except for you. And he points at me. And I'm like, I'm finna cry. I'm finna cry. But he let me know that he didn't even turn my machine on. He didn't turn my machine on. I wasn't listening to nothing at all, because that's why I sound like the head. He said he turned the wrong machine on. So I was listening. When I said I heard the headphones and it sounded like it was a machine like behind me, it was the machine behind me, because it wasn't mine. So I ended up sitting in the room, sitting in the little box by myself and doing my hearing test. And then I passed. And so then I move on to the next station. And keep in mind, you guys, I told you guys to drink water, make sure you're drinking water, but I didn't want to use the bathroom until I took my urinalysis. So the whole time in the briefing, I had to pee. I had to pee. And I didn't want to pee because obviously I knew I was going to have to give them samples of my urine. So the other 2 ladies that I was with, they went to the bathroom with a nurse. So when I walked into the bathroom, there were only 2 stalls and there were 2 people in the stall. So as soon as I walked into the bathroom, like I didn't really know what I was expecting or walking into. Like, again, I had like this perception of how I thought peeing in front of people would look, but it wasn't that. So as soon as I opened the doors to the bathroom, well, I knocked because, yeah, I just knocked. So as soon as I knocked, they opened the door. I walk into the bathroom and I just see the other 2 ladies that I was with, they're just peeing. Like, you know, they don't have doors on the stalls, and there's a nurse sitting there, so I'm just sitting next to her while she's staring at them, and I'm just kind of like trying not to pee on myself. And it was like at the point, like after one of them finished, I went ahead, I ripped my pants down so fast. Like, I didn't care about peeing in front of people. I didn't care about none of that. I had to go so fast. So I filled up my cup with no problem. And then we ended up having to, like, you know, wait. We couldn't wash our hands right after that. We had to keep the urine in our hands, holding it, because we were 1 by 1. Luckily it was only 3 of us. It was only 3 females in the whole Meps. The rest were male. And some people who got off the bus were shipping off to go to basic that day. They did maybe some of the process, because you do have to get height and weight and maybe a urine test or something, a drug test before you leave, but they did that real quick and then they were gone. So I'm sitting there with my pee in my hand, in the cup, in the whatever, and we're waiting. It's like a window, and it's a lady in the window, and she's I think she waits to do it. She does a pregnancy test and she does another test, and then she connects some of the sample and ask you to throw the rest of it away. After that, we go to the same nurse, or I'm not really sure what her position is, but she facilitated a lot of the things that we did for the female side. After we used the bathroom, we went to the vision room, I guess you would call it. We do like normal vision. We did some other tests that I've never seen before. We do the depth perception. I think Air Force only does that. And then we do the color test. So did the color test. I'm not colorblind, so that was no problem. And then I did the depth perception, and the depth perception was tricky. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of like, I was like looking into the the little lenses like that, because I really couldn't, like, it's kind of difficult to tell. Like, I can't explain it, because I'm gonna insert a picture of what the depth perception test looks like, but it's not going to be as accurate, because you have to look at it through a specific machine that makes the certain rings around the circle pop. So it's like 4 lines. Well, let me Google it real quick, because I don't remember what it looks like. So when I first did it, I never did the depth perception test before. I thought in A, I was just supposed to tell her which one, and that was it. Like, which one in the whole A section was like the one that was popping out. No, I had to do each line of each letter, and I was kind of scared. I was like, oh Lord, I don't want to mess up. So I think I pretty much aced it. So each line in the section of A has a circle that is 3D pretty much, and you have to read which one. But they kind of look the same. Like, they're not gonna lie, like, I don't even know how I can't even tell you. Like, you just gotta do it and experience it for yourself. It might be easier to somebody else. Child was in there like, D? I was like, 4, 1, 3. Like, every time I said it, it sounded like a question, but it was really me giving my answer. But I did really well, so it can't be that hard. I do recommend that if you do wear glasses, bring them, even if you don't wear them all the time, because personally, I don't wear my glasses all the time. I have astigmatism. I just wear them pretty much when I feel like it, or when I feel like it's needed. So bring your glasses. After looking at the little screen for so long, I really couldn't, like, my vision started to get, you know how like you close one eye and then you open it and then it's like kind of blurry? That's pretty much how I felt. But she was like, just tell me read what you can read from the lines. I was over there because I was trying to do good. So I was trying to read the smallest that I could see, not like the easiest that I could read. Like, I wanted to do really well on my vision test, well, as well as I could. And she was like, just read. And I was sitting there for like 2 minutes, y'all, 2-3 minutes. Like, and she was like, just read what you could read. I was like, oh, because I wanted to do so well. But she was so patient with me, because I know I was probably annoying her. Like, girl, read the line that you can read. If you can't see all the way at the bottom, don't read all the way at the bottom. Read the first one if that's the only one that you can read. But I was just trying to do really well. After I did the vision portion, I went and we had to give blood. When I was waiting, there was some people who were telling me that one of the ladies that were drawing blood was doing a terrible job, pretty much. She couldn't get their vein, and then something about the vein bubbling up or the blood bubbling up, and I was like, oh my God, I can't have that. Like, I'm not terrified of needles, and I'm not terrified to give blood or anything like that, but I don't want a traumatic experience, and I don't want this to be the start of that. But thankfully, I didn't get her. So the lady who did draw my blood, she was very quick and simple. She did ask me if I was scared of needles. And personally, I felt like that was kind of like, not a trick question, but just a question to get more insight, because I feel like if you do tell them things, they do take note and they might bring it to you later, or it might later affect your process. So just kind of be careful about what you're saying as far as the information that you are divulging to them, because they're there to do a job. You're there to do what you're there to do. Don't just be telling them all type of stuff that is unnecessary at the end of the day. So she was like, are you afraid of needles or blood or anything? I was like, no, because I'm not, but I'm just saying, that's my little 2 cents on that. Take that how you take that. Y'all remember my disclaimer at the beginning of the video now, okay? So now we're moving on to the interview portion of my Meps experience. I think when I got in there, I had to, well, eventually they did height and weight in there, and we have now stripped down to our bra and our panties and our socks maybe. But when I first got into that portion, it was somebody, they're already doing their interview. The interview is basically just talking and going over the medical history that you provided to your recruiter, or you put it. Now it's a portal, because when I first started my process, it was a packet and they inputted the information into the computer, but now there is a portal that you input all of the information in, and so they're just going over that information, and they had us read a paragraph just to make sure, I guess, we can read. What else? You're just talking to us. Have you ever smoked, drink? Have you ever, all those types of things. You've broken a bone, blah 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 blah. Now while I was sitting there waiting, my biggest fear throughout this process was having to prolong my process, because at this point, it is August 24th. My ASVAB expired the next month, like the first or second week of December. I mean, my ASVAB expired the first or second week of September, and we're in August. We're pretty much the last week of August, or close to the last week of August, August 24th. So it was really crunch time for me. Like, I didn't want to have to wait and get paperwork if there was something that they needed to investigate, as far as something on my medical history or whatever the case is. I didn't want to have to go through that. So that was pretty much like my biggest fear going into Meps, is being delayed in any type of way and not being able to swear in that day. As I was waiting, there was somebody in the office with the doctor, and I'm sitting outside on the couch, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm kind of tired. Like, they tell you also, and there are signs around saying, like, this is a job interview essentially, so you should not be sleeping. Like, just be professional pretty much. However, we was in a room by ourselves. Well, I was by myself, and she was in another room that was not, like, they're in their own separate room. So I was sitting on the couch, kind of like, had my head back. Like, I was kind of like dozing off because I was tired. But I'm listening because it's quiet. And she was just like, oh yeah, so will I be able to swear in today? She's like, no. I was like, oh gosh. There goes my heart, pitter patter. It's beating real fast, about to pop out my chest, because that's my biggest fear, and this is happening to somebody else with the same doctor that I'm about to go sit down and have an interview with. So I'm kind of nervous because I don't want that to happen to me. And I ended up talking to the girl, and she told her that she broke something when she was younger, and I just feel like, you know, it's something that she never told her recruiter. So had she told her recruiter, maybe the circumstances would have been different. Maybe she would have still had to go about the process the same way. But I don't personally think she should have said that at that moment. I don't think that she should have hid it or anything like that. But clearly she didn't swear in with me. So there's that. And she doesn't even live in the same city that I live in. So she's traveled hours to get here just to have to come back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could have easily been avoided, but hey. So when I went in there, luckily I don't really have nothing going on in my medical history. Like, I'm regular. Also, let me say this. I have heard now in 2022, effective like December sometime, that they are pulling your pharmaceutical records at Meps. So I think that that is going to play a major part in people's process. It might delay things because you have to prove, like, I've heard stories where people have had scars and had to prove where they got the scars from, or they took this type of medicine for this problem, but because of the medicine is this, they had to go through hoops and loops, or was misdiagnosed with this, and then, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I swore in before then. So anyway, like I already said, my interview went smooth. After the interview, we did the physical, and the physical, you do go in the room again with the doctor. You meet with her again, and she was really nice. She was a black lady as well. So shout out to my Meps for the representation, because there was everybody in Meps, like, and that was what's up. And there was a lot of females in there. It was like, that was what's up, because this is a mainly male dominated career field. So I was happy to see representation not only of my skin color but of my sex. Like I was like, okay. We did the physical, and if you are worried or nervous about the physical portion of the Meps experience, don't be. Personally, it wasn't invasive because, you know, you have to strip down. She pretty much looked at my body, looked at my tattoo paperwork, because you do have a folder that you carry around throughout the whole, like, and everybody's like marking stuff and writing notes and whatever the case is in your folder as you go to each station. Like I went to the hearing, they took the folder, wrote something in the hearing. I went to the vision, they took something, wrote something in the vision. Or like my scores, or how I passed, or how I failed, or whatever, however I tested. She's going through that. She's looking at my body, she's feeling on me, but not anything like, it's very much like tap, like, okay, let me just look at your breath, let me just look in, okay, we're good, all right. You make sure you got all 10 fingers and toes, you can hear, but it wasn't that bad in my experience. So after the physical part, the interview and the physical, so now we do the famous duck walk that everybody loves to talk about, which really isn't that like miraculous or hard. It's pretty much self-explanatory. If you've never seen the duck walk, YouTube it. There's plenty of YouTube videos on it, but they never like go indirectly to saying, oh, do the duck walk now. So pretty much we're doing exercises. We're doing arm circles, raising our arms up, jumping, and coming down flat-footed, coming down on our knees. Like, I don't know, I don't remember all of the exercises, but there are plenty of videos that specifically talk about the exercises that they do at Meps on YouTube, so y'all can look those up. But we did all of those, and she was like, I remember her being like, grab your gun, get on your knees, and walk or something. So that's when we would do the duck walk. Like, we were like, I don't know, we had to like have our hands, like, can't really see. We had to like, she's like, grab your gun. I was like, what type of gun is this? Is this a pistol? Am I grabbing it? Is this a right? Like, what type of gun is this? We had to do like this thing where we walked really fast, like speed walking. We had to do that. So funny. And we had to do a diagonal. So we have the nurse who was with us, like with me, at least in the females, throughout the whole process. The urine test, the hearing test, the urine test, the vision test, and now the exercise portion. She's telling us what to do and demonstrating it as well. And then we have the doctor standing. She is observing us do these exercises, looking at us, like making sure, like, I don't know, everything's working the way it's supposed to work. After the exercises, we got dressed and we went to our liaison's office. And for the Air Force, we do the X Factor machine. So we had to pretty much lift weights. My recruiter let me know in the day before I went to the Meps to like pretty much max out. The goal is to get 80 pounds above your head, because I think it helps you like qualify for my jobs. I don't know, I think I might have did 40. So he was like, do you think you can do more? I was like, yeah. He's like, how much you want to do? I'm thinking about what my recruiter said. I said 80. Y'all, when I tell you I almost split my back in half trying to do that. And it was like he wanted you to get it to a position to where you can use your legs to move your arms up. And y'all, I tried. I don't remember what I ended up doing. I might have did like 70, 75, something like that. I could lift, like, you start at the bottom, so you have to pull the weight up to here, but it's not solely you, it is on the machine. And then you have to get it to a position to where you can, like, you squat and you can lift it up over your head. But I could not get the 80 pounds here. And I was like he was spotting me, but baby, I almost broke my back. It was a wrap. I was gonna go to the hospital and be disqualified because I got broke back. I did a whole lot more paperwork and signing stuff. Oh my gosh. And he tried to teach me a valuable lesson, because he said something while we were signing paperwork. Yeah, so you're gonna start for the Army? And honestly, I thought he was like joking, because being funny, like, oh, you being, because he's obviously in the Air Force, so why would he think that? I thought he was trying to be funny, but he was trying to teach me a lesson about reading over the things that I am signing. And you would think that I just be like signing stuff without reading it. There is a part of me who are trusting these people because they know what I'm here for and they have all the information, but at the same time, you know, you are responsible for yourself. So I'm signing paperwork, and he says that, he's like, you know what, You didn't say anything. Like, I didn't say anything when he was like, oh yeah, because you're joining the army. He was like, you need to correct people and double it and make sure. And I was like, okay, teach me lessons already. Teach me lessons already, Air Force. Okay. And you do have to, because I was signing my contract and there were errors in my contract about how many years I was serving, and it could have been bad. And I'm like, no, I signed it for it. No, you signed a 6-year contract, and I would have been pissed. Okay. Because let me make that decision when that decision comes. That's just a tip. Take away from this video. Look at what you're signing. Read what you're signing. Review the paperwork. After I was done signing a whole bunch of paperwork in my liaison's office and doing the X Factor machine, I went to lunch. I've heard so many people go to lunch and they have these catered lunches and everything is just so nice and it tastes so good and it was great. We had a cafeteria school lunch, school brown bag type of lunch. This is lunch. Like, this is lunch. Like a dry turkey sub, some chips and an orange. What? The lunch was not the best, but I ate it because I was starving. After I ate lunch, I went to back to my liaison's office. From there, I went to fingerprinting, took my fingerprints. That's when the guy had my contract messed up and he was about to have me sign some stuff that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I went back to my liaison office, did more paperwork, and then I finally swore in, you guys. Like, it was just so surreal. They do like a little briefing if you ever, I did ROTC, so I knew like attention, parade rest, but they tell you how to do everything and what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to say. It's very simple, but I did it, and I'm so excited to be a part of the United States Air Force. It's a big accomplishment for me, and I hope you guys take some good tips and tricks and just knowledge from my video. And you know, you're probably watching this because you're going to Meps and it's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited for y'all. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you have some funny or interesting things that happen to you at Meps, don't forget to comment it in the comment section. And I shall see y'all in another video. Bye.